Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clews.
Don't you swing them jingles, son?
That is great. I love Fats Waller. To me, he was the greatest jazz musician ever. And I thank God I discovered he had his own version of Jingle Bells. For those of you who didn't recognize, that's what it was Jingle Bells. And he was an amazing man. I saw a great documentary about him one time where it interviewed his son. And, Fats Waller died like at 39 years old or something, 43. And then they said, well, what happened to him? And he said, my father wasn't a big drinker. He didn't take any drugs, but everybody loved Fats Waller. And he said his life, I never saw him when there weren't 30 people around. And he said his life was one party until he just lived himself to death. Well, it's not a bad reputation. Wonderful person. If you ever get a chance, go to YouTube, get the video, Ain't Misbehavin' from the movie Stormy Weather. I guarantee you will not be able to stop laughing watching him sing it. So thank God we started with Fats Waller singing Jingle Bells to you. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. Thank God it's that most wonderful time of the year. And we have a most wonderful show for you today. We have the jam-packed show. First of all, we have two great interviews, not one, but two. With good friends, both with old friends. First with Charlotte Tweed, the editor of the Escape Artist Insider magazine, which I urge you to subscribe to. It is the best magazine, international magazine in the world. It, honest to God, is. As you see, I'm going to say to her in our interview, and she just she's a wonderful interview, and she's in this interview. You'll see she's in Managua, Nicaragua, and I even played a little bit of Guy Lombardi's song for you in the interview. So there's another treat coming for you. It's like Music Day, isn't it? Old Music Day from when I was young. So there we go. For me, it's the best of both worlds. And then we also have an interview with another old friend, Leslie Lawrence from Grand Pacifica, the single most beautiful residential resort community in the Caribbean, a Mike Cobb community. And I urge you, go to grandpacifica.com, look it over after you're finished watching the show. No, I don't interrupt the show. And see it for yourself, because I think a lot of you are going to, especially after you hear her interview today, a lot of you are going to say, we need to check that out. It is the good life at a great price, 10 times over, 10x, as Grant Cardone would say. So a lot of great stuff for you today. But before I get to any of it, I want to urge you, the reason I'm wearing my hat is kind of a reminder for me and you, check out Offshore Club's brand new Friendship Village Facebook group. Okay. I want you to do that. Okay. Friendship Village Facebook group is absolutely going to become your international home away from home. Okay. I think the what I call the grand potentate of Friendship Village, I'm the mayor. The grand potentate, though, M, has put together an incredible forum for you. It is the #1 online offshore greet and meet discussion forum on the internet. Absolutely, without doubt. Everything you want to know, you're going to find out at Friendship Village, okay? Facebook group called Friendship Village because it's really a village where people talk about what it's like to live offshore or to want to live offshore. If you have questions, that's where to ask them. It's a discussion forum. If you have opinions, that's where to give them. If you want to sell something, and you think it'll be of use to your fellow Offshore Club members, your fellow Friendship Village residents, neighbors. It's a place that everything right there. It is virtual living at its best. It, honest to God, is. You are going to love it. So check it out. Check it out. Join up. Join the, I tell people, welcome to the hood, because it is your neighborhood. Okay. It's the other day I wrote a note. Some of you probably got it, where I said, it's a place where there's the old song from Cheers says, everybody knows your name and we're glad you came. Okay. And that you keep coming back. So check out the brand new Friendship Village Facebook group. I think you are going to decide that's a place where you want to spend a lot of your time. Okay. If you're already living offshore, give you a chance to talk about what it's like. If you're thinking about it, it's where you can find out how your other Friendship Village friends and neighbors are living. So check it out. Check it out. We have a great $1,000 listing for you today. And one of my favorites that I found for you so far, it's from Vivian, which I'm going to go into later for you. This is a pretty doggone nice place, okay? Pretty doggone nice place for an incredibly low price. So it's in Ecuador, which is a country with a very low crime rate, a very nice lifestyle. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll tell you all about it later. And then, of course, we have our we'll finish up as usual with our Mad Max moments after our interview. So it's jam-packed and time is going fast. And I'm trying to keep these shows down to 40 minutes for you, because I know that's what you prefer. So I'm actually not going to do a Mad Max moment. Okay. I'll just tell you right now, I'm not going to do a Mad Max moment. And because you know what? Anybody that doesn't know how awful things have gotten in the United States by now, there's probably no use trying to explain it to them. Crime is out of control. Inflation is out of control. The politicians are out of control, and it's time for you to get out of the country. I'm just serious about it. It's not going to get any better, because every day, the other day, this Psaki person, Biden's press secretary, said, when they said, inflation now is raging out of control after the Biden administration and the Fed and the Secretary of Treasury lied about it. Remember back when I told you they're lying, folks, when they said, well, there's no inflation. Then they said, well, okay, but it's transitory. Well, now they're saying, well, now it ain't transitory. It's double digit. It's going to hit 20%. It's really at 15 to 16%. Now it's going to hit 20%. The PPI, the product price index, just went through the ceiling, highest in 40 years. So enough. You don't have to live like that. You can live for a fraction. Whatever money you have, you can take 10 times as far by making your move offshore. It's pretty refreshing, isn't it? Pretty refreshing. So everything in the U.S. is out of control. It's time for you to get out of the country. I don't know any other way to say it. It's the good life at a great price. So, but that's it. No Mad Max woman. Not going to go into any more detail. You're living it just like I am right now. I can't wait to get offshore. Some of you asked about it. The only reason I'm here right now, as a matter of fact, I'm at my brother's house now as he broke his hip. Otherwise, my wife and I, Angelita, and I would be down there at our beach home in Honduras at La Ceiba Beach Club. Walk out the front door, you're at the beach, $30,000. Come on, folks. You can't beat that. Be my neighbor. Won't you be my neighbor? So there we go. That's where we are. And that it's all there waiting for you. And so let's do this. Because you see how fast I'm talking. I feel like there used to be some character on TV who was a real fast talker. I can't remember his name now, but we do have so much to cover. So let's keep moving. I said I wasn't going to do a Mad Max. I went on too long, didn't I? But I think you got the message. Let's see what life is like when you make the move. And the best way to do that, and the reason I'm more and more doing interviews, and you've asked me to, so it's kind of like popular demand, is because when I talk to these people who are already living offshore in the sun, sand, and surf where I want you to be, you see for yourself that it really is that good. And so let's go straight now to my first interview I did. Let's go with Charlotte. Now, those of you who know Charlotte, is an incredible person. She's been on with us twice, I think now. She is the editor of Escape Artist Insiders Magazine, which I urge you to subscribe to. It's, as I said, it's the best magazine out there. It's fantastic. We talk a little bit about it in this interview, but Escape Artist, as you know, is kind of like the Offshore Club sister organization. Okay, we're more lifestyle. They get into more of the technical stuff, second residencies and Bitcoin, sometimes taxes that we really don't get into because we're just helping you to find the place. They can tell you, if you have some of the questions. We just want to be find the great place to live. And thank God a lot of you are responding well to that, and we appreciate it. But let's cut to this interview now, because Charlotte is just fantastic. You're going to find her delightful. She's in Managua, Nicaragua. And as you're going to learn, she's soon going to be heading to Mexico, and she's going to talk a little bit about that too. So, super producer Brian, let's go to the tape. So, Charlotte, welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter. I've got my Christmas mug, as I showed everybody earlier. Got my official hat with our logo on it. And you are in Managua, Nicaragua. Am I right?
You are correct.
All right. Hold on a second here.
Managua, Nicaragua is a beautiful town. You buy a hacienda for a few pesos down.
All right, guys, that's enough. That's enough, guys. Come on, guys. It's not your show. It's my show. All right, there we go. Guy Lombardo. I mean, that's like 1930s, Managua, Nicaragua, and you are there.
Yes, the 1930s. That's before my time. That's before.
Yeah. I was only in my 40s then, so yeah, I was still a young man.
Yes.
So I am thrilled you're in Managua because it is one of my favorite cities. Mm-hmm. It's a city that came back from devastation, rebuilt itself. Let's talk about Managua, because folks, some of you are going to want to live in Grand Pacifica, which is the #1 residential resort community in the Caribbean. It's a macabre community, which we said we're going to talk about later. But some of you like to live with the indigenous population, if you will, which is Managua. So what's it like? What have you found there? What it's like walking down the streets, stores, shops, the works?
You can get anything in Managua. Like it's of course more of the local flair than being in Grand Pacifica itself. You can go to the little pulperias if you want. There's little stores side by side on main streets where you can have, which is interesting, somebody selling motorbikes, and right next door you can have somebody selling coffins. It's very interesting.
I love it.
The other thing too, which I find nice, if you're getting a little homesick, because we miss certain North American things. There is a Galleria there, which is a large mall that has North American stores, and it's all decorated for Christmas, playing Christmas music. They had a beautiful nativity set that was probably 50 feet long, set up, a little miniature nativity set to the town of Bethlehem.
Fantastic.
It totally takes away your homesickness when you're there. So we decided to go to the Hard Rock Cafe and have lunch and have our North American fix before we get on a plane to Mexico tomorrow. So that's
right. You're leaving. Let's help people understand. Mm-hmm. You are leaving Managua tomorrow to go spend a couple weeks, months in Mexico.
Couple months. We could be there for as long as 6 months, possibly longer.
Excellent. So you will be reporting to us from Mexico after you finish reporting today in Managua.
I will be. That is correct.
That's pretty incredible.
We're doing a house sit.
Now, when let me add, folks. I should have said this at the beginning. Charlotte is the editor of Insiders Magazine at EscapeArtist.com. It is the best magazine, international magazine in the world. Okay. Barring none. And how can they subscribe to it?
They can subscribe just by going to escapeartist.com, and there is a tab there for the Escape Artist Insiders magazine, and you can subscribe right online.
Right. And right now there's a huge discount, folks. So get in while the getting's good. And you have some incredible exclusive writers for Insiders Magazine, including actually my favorite writer of all.
Mine too.
Carib Carter, S. Carter Clews, not this Carib Carter because that's Offshore Club, but at the escape route, which is really, which talks about the importance of escaping offshore, and this one focuses on the raging out of control crime in the U.S. And I think it's pretty informative and could have you reaching for your passport, folks. But so subscribe. Go to offshore.club. I can't help pitching myself. It's just a habit. Go to escapeartist.com and click on the button to subscribe to Insiders Magazine. You do an incredible job with the magazine, Charlotte.
Thank you.
It's a great magazine, folks. Fact-filled, colorful, everything you want in one magazine once a month. So let's get back to Managua. When I lived in Honduras, I used to love to go into La Ceiba, which I think has about 100 to 200,000 people. And like you just said, the mall, it's like when you're outside the mall, you are in Central America. When you go in the mall, you're in the U.S., except the people are Latino. Right?
Yeah, very much so. So like I said, you can get your homesickness fit and feel right back at home, do a little bit of shopping, go for a lunch, and head back to Grand Pacifica and start your clock all over again.
The good life at a great price. Well, in Managua, in the neighborhoods, I loved it when I would go to like La Ceiba. Now, La Ceiba is really a beach town, as you know, in Honduras. It's a little different from your average city. Actually, when I hear something funny, Charlotte, La Ceiba reminded me, and when some people are going to say this guy has truly lost his mind, he needs to loosen that hat, reminded me of Tel Aviv.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they're both. You walk down the street and you're on the beach. A lot of people don't realize that about Tel Aviv. You're on the beach, and then you walk a couple blocks, and La Ceiba is like that. But Managua is more like, I would say, to the comparison of what I know, San Pedro Sula, which is a city in the center of Honduras, or maybe Tegucigalpa. How big is Managua?
1.3 million or 1.4 million people.
All right.
Either here. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bustling, busy city. The streets are busy. There's a lot of traffic, but if you're not at lunch hour or rush hour, which is usually about the 4 or 5, we would be okay driving in it. A lot of people think, how would I drive in these cities? They'd be insane. Yes, it is busy, but if you have driven in Italy, I'll compare it to Italy because we have driven in Italy a lot. You can drive here, and the roads are actually very good in Nicaragua in general. The highways are fabulous. They're paved. The main highways are paved. There are side roads that are rough, but the main roads to Leon, Granada, Managua, out Grand Pacifica, it's paved all the way out to Grand Pacifica now. They're really good. So driving is possible.
In Managua. Let me ask you this. Once you're outside the mall, does Managua have the nice little hole-in-the-wall restaurants and coffee shops and that kind of thing, which I just love?
It does. The first time we came to Managua, we had our driver that we had take us, and it was time to go for lunch, and we said, we want Nika food. We want Nika price, Nika style, to see what that's like. We can eat in the North. We weren't ready for the North American restaurants. We can get them anytime. We weren't homesick yet. So he took us to the little hole in the wall. He said, I'll take you where I take my family. I know it's clean. I know the food is good, and we'll go there and have lunch. So yeah, we went there, and it was sort of cafeteria style. There was chicken, salad, rice and beans. Of course, there's always rice and beans.
Right.
And you can pick what you want for the 3 of us to eat. And we all had, chicken, or there was beef as well. It was $11.63. And that was 3 meals and 3 lemonades.
That is just great. And ample amounts, right? Ample amounts.
Oh, I couldn't eat it all.
Yeah.
The plate was huge. And the interesting thing, I mean, it's hot here, right? It's Central America.
Yeah.
The restaurant had no air conditioning, but it wasn't hot in there because, they have it figured out where to open the windows to get the breezes to come through. And if you have the air movement, you're fine. You're good.
Very, very nice. And you know something? In some of the little tiny, as I say, hole in the wall restaurants I used to go to in La Ceiba, they would do what you're saying to keep things cool, folks. We're reassuring you, you're not going to have a heat stroke when you make your move to Central America. But they would also have, I don't know whether you've seen this. I don't know whether they have it in Nicaragua. Gourds filled with water hanging down throughout the little restaurant, because when the water would evaporate, it would cool the room.
I have not seen that yet. That's very interesting.
You can give it a try. You'll save money on air conditioning.
Yeah, their ingenuity is incredible. Right?
It's incredible.
If the power goes out, if the water goes off, people aren't freaking out going, what do I do? What do I do? It's like, yeah. They know how to survive on the land.
You find a way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting things to me, and I'm glad you're in Managua. I'm glad you're familiar with it, because I've wondered, I remember it was a very pivotal point in history for Nicaragua. It was the earthquake in Managua, I think in 74, right?
71, 74, something like that. Yeah.
Right, early 70s.
Yeah.
That almost leveled the city.
Mm-hmm.
Almost leveled the city. And folks, this is fascinating. I think it's fascinating. When the rest of the world sent in massive amounts of money, because it was just tragic, massive amounts of money, the Somoza family, who essentially owned Nicaragua for generations, stole every damn penny. Mm-hmm. They stole it. Mm-hmm. And that is what catapulted Daniel Ortega. Now, he already had his muchachos, okay, who had fought to try to free Honduras, Nicaragua from Somoza. But that was the pivotal event that made it so the people of Nicaragua, God bless their hearts, said, okay, Comandante Ortega, whatever you need to do, we want to be free of this man. And wow. And that was the trigger. And mm-hmm. So that's when Ortega came in and they started the rebuilding. So when you're in Managua now, can mm-hmm. you, I guess there's nothing that you see that you say, oh, that must have fallen down when the earthquake.
No, because the buildings aren't high. They didn't build because all the buildings came down and crashed. There was so much devastation. They only build the buildings so high now.
Wow.
So it's not like when you go into Miami or, Panama City and there's all the skyscrapers and the great big skyline. It's not like that in Managua. You really don't feel like you're in a city of 1.3 million, because everything is pretty much the same height, the same size,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say Managua is a pretty city?
It is pretty. Like the surrounding area is gorgeous. You can see the volcanoes, the lake. It's variety. The colors, the buildings are all painted different, So.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because this is something else that fascinated me. La Ceiba, as I say, is a beach city. And I grew up in Baltimore City, so I didn't know anything about beach cities. But in San Pedro Sula, which is actually where my wife is from, in the center of Honduras, when I would walk the streets of San Pedro Sula, and folks, you can walk the streets of San Pedro Sula. I know that our State Department says, what's the murder capital of the world? Well, I'm alive, and I walk the streets. So but it was like being back in Baltimore when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Does Managua remind you of any, you're from Canada, any cities that you'd say, this kind of reminds me of, I don't know, any city that?
I wouldn't say no. It's very unique in its own way. It does not remind me of any cities in Canada. Pacifica reminded me of small town Canada back in the 80s.
Okay.
But no, it's different all on its own. It has a beauty. To me, every city really has a beauty all its own character.
Yes. Yeah.
And you had mentioned about walking on the streets, feeling safe. We felt safe anywhere we went. We've walked around in Granada. We've walked around in Leon and San Rafael. And as long as you're not walking around flaunting yourself, wearing tons of jewelry, dress modestly, dress just like you're hanging out on, your home. Then you'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
Yeah,
You
you'll
know,
be okay.
I felt much safer in La Ceiba, San Pedro Sula, even Tegucigalpa than I would in most American cities today. Much safer than in what they are today. As a matter of fact, I think this is funny. When I was in Tegucigalpa, which, folks, is the capital of Honduras, and I think it has like 3 million people, so it's really big. And the one night I was meeting with a congressman, and he was like 10, 15 blocks away, and I was at the Hilton. I don't remember where he was, meeting in a restaurant. And I said, well, I'll just walk up. And he said, no, that wouldn't be safe. And I said, I'm not, I'm really not worried about crime. I just, I was raised in the city. He said, no, not crime. No, it's not crime. He said, some of the people who are very poor steal the manhole covers. And we have very few street lights, and you may fall down in the hole. Big manhole covers.
And something that we saw today, you wouldn't see this anywhere else. Our driver was even shocked. He was like, what? There was a car that had a motorcycle. The front tire was in the trunk. The trunk was open. The front tire was in, and he was pulling the motorcycle along, hanging out the trunk. And what is that? And their driver says, this is Nicaragua.
This is Nicaragua. The Latinos
you never know what you're going to see.
No, as you said earlier, they're very inventive people. They are
very. So I don't know if that motorbike broke down. I don't know if they just bought it and had to get it home, but they were getting it home. Didn't fit inside the car, so.
That reminds me, when I was, folks, what we're doing is just really giving you the flavor of the very incredible and fascinating life south of the border. When I lived in the little town of El Pino, right? And tiny little town in Honduras. Mm-hmm. And the streets didn't have any names. That's how small it was. And a couple months earlier, my dog had died, my Doberman. That was like a son to me, right? And I said, do you think anybody here in El Pino would mind it if I named my street and put up a street sign there, had a metal street sign calling it Barren Lane, to name after my dog? And my gringo friend said, no, I don't think they'll mind at all. Now, you will find this. Within about a week, the sign will be gone and it'll be nailed to patch a hole in someone's home.
And, I don't, street signs too, in Managua, I know it's kind of the same. They'll say, for directions, you go 500 meters this way, and then you turn at the yellow house, and then you turn right at this colored house, and that's how you get there. There's not street signs here either in a city so big, but Leon has street signs on the side of the building like they do in Italy.
Very nice, very nice. Well, it is. I want to talk to you a little about what you're looking forward to in Mexico, but so for you, it's just, what would you say to people who? Some of us just love city life. I grew up in the city. I love city life. That's why one of our homes we own in the U.S. now is in the city of York, Pennsylvania. Every morning I get up, I look out the window, and I sing to my little Honduran wife, "It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood." So for those who love city life, you think Managua would be a pretty good city for them to move to?
Managua, Granada is beautiful. I would love to spend more time in Granada as well. Yeah, you can get everything that you would want in Managua. Yeah.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. And speaking of these towns, I want to mention something that M, who is the director of everything for the Offshore Club. Mm-hmm. I'm the president, but she really, as you know, M is the straw that stirs the drink. She has commented to me over and over again how incredible your articles are about restaurants and places you visit and the articles you have in Escape Artists.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. And so I read a couple, and they really are. Folks, go to Escape Artists, read Charlotte's articles about the places she visits, the restaurants, the towns in her journeys, and you're going to feel like you're there. You do that good of a job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so it's really wonderful. And
I
now,
love sharing about my experiences, and I want to try and put people there. So
excellent, and you do, and it's wonderful. And now you're going to Mexico. So what do you expect to find in Mexico that you're going to be reporting to us 2 weeks from now on?
well, we'll be on the Pacific again, the Pacific Ocean. Our house is supposed to be 48 steps from the front of the ocean. So we're doing a house sit for a Canadian couple that is going back to spend Christmas with their grandkids. So we're taking care of their house while they're away. There is a possibility it could turn into a longer period of time, depending on how their travel is going to work out.
Right?
Because if you've heard, Canada is clamping down all over again with.
It's called fascism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We said, don't worry about it. We're there. We're flexible. If you
Yep.
need an extra week or two, there's not a problem.
Yep.
And it's a 20-minute drive to Zihuatanejo is where we're staying. So it's north of Acapulco, and we're just a little south of Zihuat, right on the Pacific Ocean. So it's a small fishing village. The house we're staying in, the Canadians built it about 5 years ago. I believe they built it themselves, and there's a little growing expat community there as well. So this one's not a gated community. It's a little fishing village with a lagoon and
Nice.
little restaurants and a store where you can buy stuff. So it'll be a whole different experience.
It's fantastic. Well, we are looking forward to it. In 2 weeks, we will be back with Charlotte and with you in Mexico. It's
The
fantastic.
internet's supposed to be good, so
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for joining us today, as usual. Absolutely.
thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to
Feliz
you.
Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Talk to you in 2 weeks.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Carter.
Delightful. Charlotte is simply delightful. I love talking with her. I really do. I really do. And I know from your notes to me, your emails, some text messages that you love hearing from her. So remember, she's on every 2 weeks. And so we're going to, she's going to keep coming to you at your Offshore Club's Coffee with Carib Carter. And maybe we'll start getting her doing her own podcast too. Let's see. I'll talk to her about that. Okay. I know you'd like it, especially now that she's be reporting from Mexico. So you've seen now, Managua, Nicaragua, Guy Lombardo was right. It's a heck of a place. And if you're like me, a city person, I was raised on the main streets of Baltimore, back when Baltimore was just a great city. And it's city life to me, is a wonderful life. Okay. And so Managua may be a good alternative for you, I'll tell you another alternative. And then we're going to come back and do our next interview with Leslie Lawrence. But let's talk about another alternative in our series of $1,000 listing Caribbean. Okay. $1,000 listing Caribbean. And today we are going to go to Ecuador. You see Ecuador on the map there? Okay. Let's get in close here. All right. We're going to Ecuador. All right. Lovely, fantastic country, very peaceful, very tranquilo, as they say in Spanish, as my wife would say, my adoring wife. And I found the place for you. I always tell you that, so let me back up. There are 3 kinds of homes that I help you find. Okay. Now remember, I'm not a realtor. I do not get a commission on these homes. I have the joy of being the president of the Offshore Club and helping you find the good life at a great price in the home of your dreams in Central and South America. That's what I do. Okay. What you work out between a realtor down there or the owner of a home and you, that's up to you. Remember, always bid low. Okay. You're going to get a great price anyway on a home. A home up here down there that cost you $100,000 would cost you, some of them, especially oceanfront, would cost you $1 million up here. My home that cost $30,000. I know I keep talking about it all the time, but I'm proud of it. And it would cost you $300,000 to $500,000 up here easily. It's on the ocean. My front yard is the ocean. Okay, the beach. So there, we find three at your. Let me get my fingers up here. Right at your Offshore Club, we find 3 kinds of homes for you. Some are in what I call quaint communities. Okay. A quaint community, and I'll make this quick, but I think it's important to you, is a home that is in a real, a community of a native community. Okay. Like the one I had when I first moved to Honduras in El Pino, just a little Honduran town I moved to. It was wonderful. The home that my wife and I have that she bought right there. See that home? That's not my beach home. That is our other home. That's in a little community, a Honduran community called El Colon. Okay. Gorgeous home. It has 3 bedrooms, backyard full of fruit trees. It's in a nice little small friendly town. Okay. Just beautiful, in great shape. You see it? Did I get it there for you? Yeah. Okay. That home, $30,000. Yeah, that's right. I said $30,000. That'd be $150,000 home in the kind of neighborhood it's in. Here in the U.S., maybe $200,000. Because it's a nice little neighborhood. It has its own coffee shop, its own little stores, its own fresh fruit and vegetable stands right there. Okay, that's a quaint community. That's when you're living among the Honduran people themselves. And so, and if you go that route, most of them are going to speak Spanish because they're going to be the indigenous population. But you'll find them very friendly. You'll find them very helpful. They're your neighbors, and they're good neighbors. They are like small town. Those quaint communities, think Mayberry RFD, think Mayberry. Just think Mayberry, okay? Mayberry with a Spanish dialect. So there you go, all right? So that's the first kind. The second kind of home we show you is in the what I call cozy communities. Cozy communities are the small, gated, guarded communities, everything taken care of for you. But they don't have a lot of stores in them. They don't have a lot of, they probably have a coffee shop and that kind of thing. But wonderful, again, friendship villages. They are friendship villages like the one where I bought my other home. Okay, that's the home on the beach, which I know I've shown you a million times. Some of you are saying, oh my God, he's showing it to us again. That's the one. You got the front door is the ocean. Out the back door is the swimming pool. A quaint community is not going to have all the amenities, but like in that one, La Ceiba is 15 minutes away. Here's another home in that quaint community. Okay. In La Ceiba Beach Club, LaCeibaBeachClub.com. Look at that. See that home there? That's about $120,000. That home in the beach type location, it is in a community where you have your gardeners, your guards, gated, everything taken care of for you. Probably, I'm going to tell you, you'd be lucky to get it for $1 million in an oceanfront community on the ocean here. That's a huge home. That's a huge home. I think that particular home has 3 bedrooms plus a studio in it, a studio office, swimming pool, everything you could want. Here's that life you'll lead there. You've seen that picture before. That's my wife on the beach in front of my home in a cozy community. Okay. A cozy community. Doesn't have, you can't walk to the supermarket or something. That's not what you have in a cozy community. Quaint community, you're in town. You're in a little town there. Cozy communities, you're going to find mostly the Central America, not Central Americans, Canadians, a lot of Italians for some reason in that particular in Honduras, and Americans, Canadians, that type of thing. Then the third are your total service communities. Okay, I'm telling you this because I want you to know there are 3 kinds of communities we talk about: quaint community, indigenous; cozy community, small, close-knit, very neighborly, very warm and friendly, gated, guarded communities with full-time gardeners, everything taken care of for you. Then you have your Mike Cobb communities. Okay, that's Grand Pacifica. That's their website, grandpacifica.com. You see it there? Okay, let me make sure you see it. That has everything. Okay, in the interview coming up with Leslie, she's there and she's going to talk to you a little bit about it. Grand Pacifica has everything. It has the stores. It has the restaurants, everything. A little more expensive, of course, but 2.5 miles of beachfront. I mean, everything you could probably golf, horseback riding, Some of you are going to want that type of home. Okay. So there you go. Your three. That's the three you're always going to hear about on Coffee with Carib Carter in your $1,000 listing. Caribbean, quaint community, cozy community, Mike Cobb community. Mike Cobb community is top of the line. So there you go. There you go. When I talk to you usually about most of the homes I talk to you about, I keep saying vivian.com, and then I spell it for you. viviun.com. Look, here's the website. Somebody said, why don't you show us the website? And I tell you, type in, see the little box on the upper right? How many times have I said that? I circled in red for you. You type in the country, hit return, and it's taking you to that country's listings. And sometimes, I think in Nicaragua right now, the Vivian has maybe 10 listings. Ecuador, I think it's 5 or 6. Some of the bigger countries, there's even more. So Panama, I think they're like 20 listings. But these are incredible property values, folks. And it tells you everything. It tells you everything. And the one I'm taking you to today, the one I'm going to tell you about now, have I got a home for you, is in Ecuador, Bahia de Caraquez, okay? In Ecuador, it is, here, I'm going to do, when I was in grad school, I majored in film and TV and all, and they said you open with a long shot, then you have a medium close-up. So this home, here's the long shot. This is where the home is in Ecuador. So you can see it's on a beautiful, beautiful peninsula. Okay, it's a cozy community. All right, it's a cozy community because you're living there mostly with the Ecuadorians who live there. Probably some folks from North America, probably some from Europe. The home we're going to look at, here's the view. I told you a long shot. There's more of a medium shot of the area you're going to be living in this home that I'm telling you about now. Here is the actual building itself. We're getting closer in, aren't we? Yeah, it's just like being in the movies. You know how you go long shot, medium shot, close up. And in this home, which comes with, now we'll go look inside the house, okay? That's the outside. This is a gorgeous condo, oceanfront, year-round weather with this condo, 100% renovated in 2019, secure underground parking. I'm reading you all from Vivian, where I just showed you. I typed in Ecuador, where the red circle was. Private pool to the building, private pool. Sunsets year-round, 24/7 concierge. It's pretty nice, isn't it? Elevator. So if you're older and you don't feel like climbing stairs, don't worry about it. You're going to take the elevator. All new plumbing and electricity. Completely furnished. Includes appliances, TV, kitchenware, everything you want. This is turnkey, folks. You move in, you live there, and let's look at where you live, okay? Now we're into the close-ups. Look at that. Is that gorgeous? Is that gorgeous? Look. Yeah. There you are. It looks like the dinette area, looking out over the water there. Here's your living room. Okay. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? Yeah. Pretty nice, huh? Pretty nice. Once again, looking out over water. I know a lot of the Offshore Club members who are women have said, remember, Carter, we like kitchens. I like that kitchen. I like that kitchen. Everything you want. I said it comes with all the appliances. There they are. And all modern. Isn't that beautiful? And then if you want to walk out on the balcony and after you fix your dinner in the kitchen, walk out on the balcony, go out, sit on the balcony and enjoy looking out over the ocean and enjoy your dinner. Yeah. That's a very, very good life. That's a very good life, isn't it? You take your drink out with you. Enjoy your dinner out on your balcony. So there you have it. Everything you'd want in a gorgeous, gorgeous community. On the peninsula, out into the water. I mean, this is paradise, folks. This is paradise. How much? Well, if I told you 500,000 In the U.S., that would be a bargain one because it would probably cost twice that much in that kind of location. If I told you 500,000, if I told you 300,000, you say it's a pretty good deal. No, $130,000. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bedroom, plenty of room, spacious, $130,000 total, and it's yours. And you live the dream. You live the dream right there out on that gorgeous peninsula, surrounded by water, living the good life at a great price. That's fantastic. Wow. I told you today's $1,000 listing Caribbean was going to blow you away. Check it out. Go to vivian.com. Check it out for yourself. Contact them, make an offer. I always offer low. I've bought 2 homes now. Why do I keep holding up 3 fingers? I bought 2 homes and offered low. I offered like $10,000 less than they were asking. I said, yeah, okay, that's right. Right now, it still is a buyer's market. It's not going to continue to be, because I notice Vivian has less and less listings all the time. Right now it is. So take advantage of it now. Grab these places up to live in as vacation home. It's an investment property. The move is on south. The move is on south. The worse it gets up here, the more people move there. So take advantage of it. Do it. And to tell you what life, again, how good you're going to live once you make that move, once you make your decision. Our second interview. Again, an old friend, been on with us once, I think twice before, Leslie Lawrence, down there in Grand Pacifica. I just showed you the website, grandpacifica.com. And I asked Leslie to come on and talk to us about a typical week. I remember, you remember the wonderful day in Dogpatch, USA, where typical folks do things in a typical way. Well, Leslie's going to tell us about her typical week in Grand Pacifica on the beach in Nicaragua. So, Brian, let's do it. Leslie, welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter. Again.
Hello, it's great to be with you.
And this time, you see, I'm wearing my hat, my logo hat. You know what? We want to hear something funny? Here I have 2 homes in Honduras. I'm the president of the Offshore Club, right? All my friends are everywhere over in the Caribbean. And I got this hat with this logo in Falling Waters, West Virginia. There's not even any, there are no palm trees or Caribbeans or any sand in Falling Waters, West Virginia, but there it was. So I think it was a godsend, don't you? I think it was a godsend.
Well, I like it. It's colorful.
So there we go. So it's part of the Coffee with Carib Carter logo now. So you are in Grand Pacifica, the Mike Cobb community, which is the best in the Caribbean. And I think last time we had you on, I got notes from people all over the place saying, we love her, bring her back. We'd rather see her than you. That's an awful thought. But, I barred those people from membership. I terminated their memberships.
Oh, it's always so much fun just visiting and hanging out and talking about Nicaragua and all the other different countries that I'm able to go to. But of course, I'm passionate about Nicaragua because I now call it home.
It's fantastic. And what we want to do today is let's just talk about, well, let me preface it with this. You are going to start doing, and folks, this really gives you something to look forward to. Every week, you are going to receive Offshore Club members in your Offshore Club Gazette and at the Offshore Club website, offshore.club. You're going to receive Leslie's new weekly podcast, Leslie at Large, which is fantastic. In which she will just talk about where she's just going to talk about what she's doing, because what you're doing, Leslie, is what our members want to do. Okay, they want to live large with Leslie at Large, and so that's fantastic. Thank you that you're going to do that. I think starting yeah, next week. I think it's starting next week, which is great. So let's talk. Let's give people kind of a foreshadowing, as we say in the movie industry, of what to expect. Let's talk about what is your day-to-day life living there in the good life at a great price at Grand Pacifica. What's your day-to-day life like? You get up Monday morning, and what happens with Leslie at large?
Okay. Well, I feel like I have big shoes to fill. I hope I'm not too boring, but I think I have a pretty cool life. I like it. It works for me. So a normal day for me, obviously, I'm not retired. I still work. But I get up early in the mornings because, here when you're living, in Belize or here in Nicaragua, the sun sets like here in Nicaragua pretty much constantly around 5:20 is when the sun sets. So I find that I go to bed earlier at night. Sometimes I'm in bed by 9 o'clock, whereas in the States, I was a 11 to midnight kind of girl. Much different now. I'm in bed. If I'm up at 10, that's rare. But because of that, I'm up like at 5 or 5:30 in the mornings, which before the grind of the U.S., corporate America, I had to set multiple alarms, turning them off. I mean, I'm sure people can relate. Didn't want to get out of the bed. But ever since I moved overseas, no alarm anymore. I literally just wake up on my own at 5 or 5:30. First thing I do, because I do have 2 fur babies, is you get those dogs outside, take them out, let them run around, then I feed them. Normal little routine that you do. But for me, my morning ritual that I try to do is I go play golf early in the mornings.
No way.
I do every day if I can. I just started. Go ahead.
Because Grand Pacifica has a gorgeous 9-hole golf course right on the Pacific, right?
We do.
Right on the water.
It's a great 9-hole course. One of my favorite holes is hole number 4. It's like facing the ocean, and it's a par 3. You're driving right into the palm trees and the water. It's beautiful. So for me, it's a good way to start my day. I can whack some balls, and when it goes well, then it puts me in a really great mindset. And, I'm no stress, just enjoying the morning. And so I play 9 holes in the morning, and I can do it fairly quickly. And then I start my normal day, which consists usually of talking to lots of great people that are wanting to move overseas and curious about our different countries. So I really enjoy what I do because I do just get to share my experiences. How I moved to Belize, then how I made the move to Nicaragua. So it's kind of interesting because I can share different perspectives from living on an island to moving to mainland here in Nicaragua.
Yeah. So absolutely. And there is a big difference, which I want to touch on in just a minute. Folks, I want you to think about that. Leslie gets up every morning and heads to a gorgeous golf course. I mean, that's just, some of you out there who I know are golfers, you ought to be sold now. Done.
Come on.
And you can play with Leslie. There we go.
Exactly. I'd love to have you. The cool thing is, and nothing against golf courses in the U.S. They're probably a little bit more stuffier than ours here. You pass people, you see people. You may have a dog run around here or there, and we actually love that. It's a little bit more relaxed vibe, obviously. But it's a good way to start the day. We have a lot of people that end their day that way. By 3:30 or 4, they're out on the golf course and they're trying to make it back over here before sunset. So that's kind of a typical day. For me, I work. A lot of residents that are retired, they get to, have fun in the sun most of the day. But for me, I love my days here because you never know where it's going to take you. Like the other day, I thought I was going to be, making calls and emails, and then someone came over because I've been tasked on a little project, and I may let you in on a secret soon, but I've been tasked on a project for some new fun things to do here at Grand Pacifica. So I got to go on an adventure the other day to check that out. And I'm just going to leave it at that, make people wonder. And when it gets a bit closer to revealing it, then I'll obviously have all the inside scoop and can share it with you.
And Leslie at large in your podcast, folks. If you something to look forward to, folks.
I have tons of cool pictures and videos of it. Was an interesting day, but that was a great adventure. I got to just go change real quick and jump on the back of a motorcycle. Sorry, Mom, and took off on an adventure. And it was a lot of fun. I got to see places of the property I had never seen, some beautiful views, and I'm excited about the things that we're creating for our residents and our guests.
It's fantastic. All right, what about, so you have a day that starts out on the golf course, then a lot of work, but still working at a pace and at a job that you enjoy, and then do you go out to dinner at one of the restaurants in Grand Pacific? Do you make your own dinner? I guess it varies.
Yeah, so it really depends. Most days at the end of the day, I try to, take my dogs back out for another walk and make sure they're settled, feed them. They like to eat. They're very particular. They like to eat around 5. So I try to accommodate them when I can. They're living a rough life here, rough, literally. But yeah, I go usually to the sea salt area around 4:30 or 5, and I meet up with a lot of people. We sit there, we enjoy the sunset, and then sometimes I'll stay and have a snack or eat dinner, and some nights I'll go home and cook or have something there. Tonight I'm actually having a game night at my house, so have some friends coming over for that.
Wow.
It's a normal life.
That's just wonderful. Well, you mentioned your dogs, and I know some of our viewers right now are saying, come on, Carter, ask her, what kind of dogs are they, and how'd you did you buy them or find them in Nicaragua, or did you fly them in on an airplane?
Okay, so I have rescue dogs. Adopt, don't shop, please. There's so many dogs out there that are fabulous and they need loving homes. So I'm a big advocate for that. One of my dogs was originally I rescued her in Texas, my little Lizzie, and she's a little terrier mix. So she made the move to Belize with me years ago. And then while I was in Belize, there's a great organization there called Saga. It's the animal shelter, and they do great things there on the island. And so there they had posted a little picture of a tiny puppy, tiny, 4 weeks old. She fit in my hand, and she had been found on the side of the road infested with fleas. It was really sad. And so, of course, I was like, I'll foster her. They needed a foster. Well, as soon as I held that little dog, I knew she was never going back, and I was never more proud to fail at something and be a foster failure. So she's a true what we call a Belizean pot licker. And when I made the move here, they did. They got on that plane, and they made the several plane rides over to Nicaragua. Entering with dogs was relatively easy. You just had to have, a current rabies, and there's an international health certificate that you need. And then when you fly into the Managua airport, there is an organization called IPSA, IPSA, and they're right there when you come in. So if you have a pet, they're going to stop you, and there's a form that you complete and pay. I don't even remember what the fee was. It was not very much, $15, $20. You pay a fee for that to bring your dog into the country. Once they, verify all the documentation is correct.
Fantastic. So you pet lovers out there, there's your answer to the question I know you have. What about my pet? Bring them along.
Right.
Bring them along.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to make a note. If people are coming in and they're planning to take their dogs back to the U.S., the CDC has changed some things. So I like to tell people, and I tell my clients, just check on that, because there's some guidelines that make it a little bit trickier to get them back. If they've been vaccinated and have their rabies from the U.S., then they're okay. But like someone like me, mine were, done out of the country. So now it's going to be more challenging if I ever needed to take my dogs back. But it's not a problem because I'm here. We're not going back. So it's all good, but they live a great life. There's a lot of pet lovers here. We're trying to work on Cobb. We're like, come on, let's get this dog park. We want a dog park. We're really excited about it. So they're trying to look at the property and find a cool place to do a dog park. And yeah, it's great because all the pets kind of run around. One of my friends, they have a dog named Whiskey. So Whiskey will be coming over to game night as well, and the dogs will have their little playtime tonight while the adults play games.
I have to laugh because I don't know that I've mentioned this for you or not, but I had a 130-pound Doberman, right? He was as big as a horse. And so one day I decided to take him to a dog park, and I could tell they were looking a little askance, right? So I chained him to the tree, okay? So at first he was fine till he saw another dog that he thought was particularly interesting. He lunged and broke the chain in half. suddenly people are grabbing their dogs, screaming, "It's loose! It's loose!" I'm yelling, "Don't run! Don't run!" This is just, oh yeah. So I did not have a dog park dog after that, needless to say. But it's wonderful. You're going to have a dog park there at Grand Pacifica, folks. This is, I know a lot of you have been wondering. This is the kind of information people really need because it's very practical. So that's great. That is wonderful. So what would you say?
People are curious and they want to know what to expect, especially, people that their pets, for me, they're like my family. I treat them pretty well. They're just another part of the family. And I think a lot of people nowadays are that way. So they want to have that comfort knowing that they will be able to bring them and, be in an environment that people, are going to enjoy them and let them run around and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great. That is wonderful. So we're running out of time here, but let me ask you, if you would say, what would you say is the highlight of your week? The one thing, is there the one thing every week you say to yourself, this is my favorite part of the week here at Grand Pacifica, and I can't wait for it what would you say it is? What would you say it is?
Yeah, for me, there's so many great things, but really, as crazy it is, some people, are like, don't you get sick of looking at so many sunsets? Because I take a lot of sunset pictures, but I don't. Like that's what I look forward to every day, is that time that I'm going to go have, a few moments just to take in the sunset. For me, it's that reminder of, okay, yeah, there's stressful things happen here just like in the US, but it's that time of day for me that you are sitting there watching this beautiful sunset and looking out at the water, hearing the waves. And that's when I'm like, okay, this is why I'm here. This is the kind of lifestyle I want. You're amongst friends, people are happy, there's music. And for me, that's always the highlight.
That's fantastic. It really is fantastic. I think you are living proof that you really cannot get too much of a good thing. I really believe that. It really is that good. So, and from now on, starting, I think this coming week, if not the week after, we're going to be hearing, folks, you're going to be hearing these great reports every week from Leslie at Large. That's fantastic. Let me ask you this before you go. How much time do you spend on the road in other parts of Nicaragua? Do you get or do you just stay right on the ranch here most of the time?
No, I like to get out and explore. So it really just depends on what my schedule is, or if I have clients. I've had a lot of clients come in recently, so obviously I stay put here. Tomorrow, for example, I'm headed to Managua and going to visit some friends, and they're going to take me out to some places there that I haven't got to go, just to kind of check out some of the live music and restaurants there. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, no, as often as I can, I like to explore. Check out new areas. There's still so many places that I haven't been yet. So, I'm already planning out my first quarter for next year on all the new places that I'm going to go check out.
That's fantastic. Well, we are looking forward to those reports. This is a great development for the Offshore Club and for its members. I was going to say nationwide, but actually worldwide. We have members in Europe and Canada as well. So thank you very, very much. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for what we can look forward to. And of course, we'll have you back on Coffee with Carib Carter in another 2 weeks or so. Sorry, that's good. That's perfect. All right.
That's great.
All right. Thank you very much. I say Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad.
Yes. Have a great one. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. I like her. I know you do too, because again, I get your cards and letters. And just imagine now, starting, I think next week, every week you're going to get her Leslie. It is because it's got that personality and that intelligence she knows what you want and she'll let you know what it is. So look forward to that. It'll be in your Offshore Club Gazette and at the website offshore.club. So look forward to it because you're going to like it. You're going to like it. And something else I think you're going to like is today's Carib Carter motivation moment. I always feel like the biggest challenge you have is just making the decision to get it done. Okay. I think that's the way with most of us, isn't it? The biggest challenge we have is making the decision to get it done and then persevering until you reach your goal, until the dream comes true. I want to show you a video. But this video touched my heart. It's a little Russian girl in the Olympics, and I want you to watch what she does when she simply doesn't take no for an answer, just does not accept failure because, like you, she wants success, and that's what I want for you moving offshore. So let's take a look at this young lady. I think you're going to be inspired.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
We can do that. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. Isn't that touching? I just loved it. I mean, I actually brought a tear to my eye the first time I watched it. I watched it a couple of times. So a look on her face, the determination. It's what we all need. It's what we all need. Don't worry about the naysayers, the dream slayers. Don't worry about if you fail a couple times. There's really no such thing as failure. You just haven't succeeded yet. Keep moving forward. You pick your spot. You decide where you want to go offshore, and you make it happen just like she did. You soar. Just soar, because that's what life is all about, and that's what I want for you. Okay? So, as we always say, you can do it. You can make your dreams come true. And first, Merry Christmas once again. Merry Christmas. We'll go out on the same Fats Waller song, but I want to tell you, even though I have a different cup today because it's Christmas time, it's a Christmas cup, folks, let's do this thing.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us at the Offshore Club. For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Carib Carter, visit www.offshore.club today. www.offshore.club. That's www.offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club.